Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Today is September 5th, and right now we are looking at the mid-level water vapor loop. You can see the state of California where I am circling. We've got this little subtle upper level low that's going to help trigger some thunderstorm activity. Over the next couple of days, we're also going to get a little bit of surge of monsoon moisture into some of the southern areas here as well. And we have the heat that we're going to be dealing with all along much of the west coast of North America. So let's scroll through yesterday, and you can again see that very subtle feature here. It's going to help trigger some thunderstorms in Northern California and across portions of Oregon and some of the Pacific Northwest over the next couple of days. So we'll dive into those details. We'll take a look at the extended forecast. As always, it looks like a little bit of a tropical disturbance continues to show in some of the models moving up towards Baja in the extended forecast. We'll take a look on the latest at that as well. So if we look at the visible satellite imagery, we scroll through yesterday, and you can see there is some fire smoke out there, but relatively speaking, not doing too bad across much of the state. And you can see the afternoon cumulus clouds across some of the ridges, the peninsula, the transverse, and the Sierra Nevada here. I didn't see any lightning strikes out there with that activity yesterday. Then we scroll on in towards this morning right now. And you can see the marine layer across some areas in Northern California, and mixed bag there across some of the Bay Area, some patchy fog out there as well. Southern California, nice and sunny, glorious sunshine out there right now. So taking a look at the west coast of the USA, you can see all the excessive heat warnings. We got heat advisories up and down the west coast here. This ridge of high pressure is dominating our weather for the next couple of days or so. So taking a look at the high temperature, actually this is not the high temperatures. This is actually the thunderstorm threat for Saturday. I don't know why they put high temperatures there, but you can see across the higher terrain, it looks like we're going to have some thunderstorm activity here as we go on in through the weekend. And I'll show you more on that here in a moment. You can even see there is some very tiny percentages of some of this moving out over the lower terrain. San Diego checking in at 6%. Almost certainly not going to happen there, but you can't completely rule it out. And the heat risk, this is for today. Widespread extreme heat risk for the valleys and inland Orange County. Look at Lake Elsinore, Riverside, Ontario, San Bernardino, and you get in towards Alpine and away from the immediate coastal areas. It warms up quite dramatically, or across some of the higher terrain doing much better. You can see much more comfortable there at Big Bear Lake versus San Bernardino or Palm Springs. And then, of course, dangerous heat there. This is Eureka National Weather Service. As soon as you go inland, even across Northern California, we have that high heat risk out there. So watch out. Never leave your pets in a car. Hopefully I don't have to tell you that. But now looking at Sacramento, they are talking about the thunderstorm activity here as well. And you can see 10 to 15% chance of isolated mountain thunderstorms. And of course, lightning, gusty winds, small hail, and some brief heavy rain. All these storms contain potentially deadly lightning. So heads up for that. And hopefully we don't get any fire starts out of this here in a moment. I'll show you more on that here in a moment, but hopefully you don't get any fire starts out of that activity. Now looking at the high temperatures here, you can see, Furnace Creek, it's always hot there, but you can see some pretty warm temperatures. There is going to be a cool down here as we go through the weekend and on in through next week, though, as well. You can see North Las Vegas is on here, and you can kind of pause this and check out your individual locations across some of the desert areas on into Nevada. You can also see it for Saturday and Sunday. There is precipitation chances included in here, and these would be thunderstorms. So heads up for that. You can't completely rule out some thunderstorm activity here. See Las Vegas checking in at 10 and 15% for Saturday and Sunday. Now, I wanted to share this graphic, the National Weather Service, Hanford, California. Check it out. The warmest temperatures here, June 1st through August 31st. That is meteorological summer, which is June, July, and August. Merced, their hottest. Madera, the second. Fresno, the second. Hanford, record warmest summer. And Bakersfield, third. And you can see the current record there of 86.7 back in 2017. So yes, it was a very warm meteorological summer here across much of the state of California. And taking a look at this is day one fire weather outlook. Nothing going on today for much of the west coast, as you can see, as far as the fire weather outlook, although there are quite a few fires burning across places like Oregon. California doing much better, and there's always a fire risk at this time of year. But for tomorrow, isolated dry thunderstorms here do include some of the Sierra Nevada, Cascades, Klamath Range up into Oregon, and portions of western Nevada. So yeah, you can see that right there. And this is day 3. So again, including some of the Sierra Nevada up towards the Cascades here and up into southern Oregon as well. And then day 4, that moves up into some of the Pacific Northwest. So you got to watch out for the fire starts here with some of this lightning. And I'll show you what last night's European model says here. As we go through the day today, you can see you can't rule out a thunderstorm there across the Sierra Nevada with some of that cumulus buildup this afternoon. Friday, again, that subtle upper level low kicking off some of this activity here. And watch as we go on into Saturday, a little bit of that monsoon moisture trying to stream into some of Southern California, Western Arizona, maybe up towards Las Vegas. That's Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon, maybe a repeat of that as well. So taking a look at the wider view of things, we got the Hawaiian Islands to the bottom left. You got the state of California right here. There's our ridge of high pressure just dominating the west coast. The ridge axis extends all the way up into British Columbia. Sinking air, warm temperatures. And if we put this into motion, you can see it hangs on for a bit here. You get a little bit of a trough showing up there, but that'll cool the temperatures down a little bit here, but not dramatically so. I mean, it'll bring things down again. So you're gonna notice that cool down. Then it's been showing something interesting here as the system tries to move through at some point next week. This would cool us down even further here. As you can see, the subtropical ridge gets smashed down a little bit off to the south, and then the models are showing some kind of tropical disturbance trying to move up towards Baja. We'll be watching that. And of course, if you look far enough out into the forecast as we start moving through mid-September, there's always some kind of trough feature showing up, but you take that with a grain of salt. That's purely a fantasy forecast at this stage. Now, taking a look at the GFS, what we're going to watch for here is any kind of big high pressure moving down across the Great Basin, which might signify some strong offshore winds, or any kind of tropical activity moving up the west coast of Mexico or towards Baja. So we scroll on in towards the future here. Here we go on in through next week. We're not seeing anything just yet. We continue to look for any high pressure systems moving down. Nope, we don't have it. And then you can see we have that tropical system here that continues to show up in some of the later portions of the forecast. I'm going back here to see when it first starts to show up. You can see about hour 144, it starts to move into the region here and up in towards the Gulf of California. And we'll watch that here because it could bring a surge of moisture to some portions of the southwest USA. But of course, models are going to be all over the place for the next few days with that system. So taking a look at the European, this is last night's run, or yesterday afternoons, I should say. But as we go on in through the next couple of days, there is that thunderstorm potential for some isolated areas of Southern California and some of the Sierra Nevada as we go through the next few days, and Northern California, I should mention. But if we scroll off into towards the future here, you can see a little bit of that tropical moisture start to stir and move towards Baja here at the very end of the run. So that is what we're watching here. It's getting to be that time of year where you can get some of this tropical moisture back up into the southwest USA. So we'll be watching that one. It's still a ways out there, nothing to get worried about just yet. So looking at the GFS, this is 2-meter temperature anomaly. So this is not taking into account the average temperatures, which of course are very warm across the state of California. But you look at some of these areas, you're looking at 15, 20 degrees above average. A lot of the state, 5, 10, 15 degrees above average as well. We scroll through here and you can kind of see this is going to be with us for a while. Actually, this one is running as we speak, so let me update that here too. And we'll just go ahead and scroll through this again. We've got more data to look at, but you can see as we go on into the extended, we do start to cool down a little bit here. That actually is not cooling off as much as what previous runs had been saying, but it's a definite change from there where we are now to what we're looking at as we go through next week. So, fingers crossed for that. We'll see how that turns out here, and we'll watch that and break it down day by day. Now, looking at daily 2-meter max temperature, you can see plenty of hundreds across the San Joaquin, Sacramento Valley, and right up towards the coastal areas, even warming up. Some of the areas in Los Angeles, right off the coastal areas, you're getting 100 plus there as you go through today. Then you go on through tomorrow, not much relief there. Saturday, a little bit of a cool down starting here for some areas, but still very hot away from the immediate coast across Southern California. There we go on in through Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Then you can kind of see that cool down coming here, and hopefully we can get some troughing in here and squash that ridge and start to bring some relief here across much of the state. And you can see maybe that'll last as we go on into the mid portions of September. Much cooler temperatures likely showing up there. Now taking a look at the 6 to 10 day, you can kind of see this has been shifting off towards the central portion of the country here. You can see near normal across some of the west and Pacific Northwest, and still that above average signal across much of the Southwest. But the 6 to 10 day, and again, the model's been showing some troughing at times, so that could potentially bring some precipitation down towards central California. And again, we're watching that daily. And as we look at the 8 to 14 day, look at this near normal across some of California here. So fingers crossed for that as this goes through September 18th. 8 to 14 day precipitation outlook there as well. Kind of a broad brush above average across a lot of the West Coast. We'll see how that turns out. This has been updated here recently as well. The U.S. Drought Monitor, state of California. And you can see a lot of abnormally dry out there, and we did introduce some moderate drought here across San Bernardino County, for example, and there's Riverside County. And we look here in, I forget how to pronounce it, Inyo County. I think I pronounced that right. I'm totally drawing a mind blank on that. We can see Lassen County here as well. And then you can see a little bit moderate drought for Modoc County up there in Northeast California. So yeah, anyway, it's still, relatively speaking, pretty good compared to where we have been. Because I'm going to show you on the next slide here, 2 years ago at this time, what we were dealing with a lot of D4 out there across some of the inland valley areas, and a lot of extreme drought out there as well. And much of the state was trapped in severe drought. So we're definitely better than what we were 2 years ago. So, it's all relative. And now you can see we do have some fires out there. But again, like I mentioned, the smoke was not too bad yesterday. There's the coffee pot fire. Looks like it's still growing a little bit, but that was updated 16 hours ago. Here's the Boone fire. A little bit of growth there yesterday as well. And the Bear fire was producing smoke. It looks like it's slowed down also. And again, the Park fire, one of the biggest fires in California history, has not been growing for a while. It is 99% contained, and this was updated yesterday. So taking one more look at things here, again, that upper level low kind of triggering some thunderstorm activity, some of these which could be dry thunderstorms, which means they are not producing much precipitation to help extinguish any of the fires that the lightning from those storms starts. And then we could get that surge of monsoon moisture, and we'll continue to watch off through the extended, see if we have any offshore wind events coming. Doesn't look like anything in the short term or even the medium range. And we're going to be watching for that tropical system off to the south. Will that make its way up towards the southwest portion of the USA? We'll just continue to watch that and break it down. But anyway, hope you guys are having a good day. Otherwise, click like and subscribe. We'll do this all again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.